Futures Await is a cooperative storytelling game for 1 to 4 players, where you play the heroes in your own ongoing episodic adventures. So it plays in about 60 minutes, and basically what we've provided is a kind of a board game experience for you to be the heroes in your own TV show, essentially. And the way it works is it essentially plays out over 5 scenes. And the way the cards are randomized, you get one of over 7,776, I think, possible storylines. And this is then massively...
That should hold us for a little while.
Yeah, and then that's massively modified by Rory Story Cubes. And kind of before I jump into it, the reason why we made the game was because I used to play role-playing games. Paranoia, Call of Cthulhu, D&D, Marvel, all kinds of things. And I've kind of fallen out of playing that, and I wanted to kind of recreate that experience and give people the experience of being a hero in a world where you could do anything and go anywhere, where you had the kind of continuity of the world, and then also the kind of idea of leveling up and your hero, you becoming really attached to your character as well. And I wasn't really seeing anything out there that could achieve that. So I actually partnered up with John Fiore, who had written a solitaire set of rules for Rory Story Cubes for how to mix it with any RPG, and he called it the 9 Qs. So I got in contact and I said, look, could we maybe work together to create a game? And the target audience was basically a mom and 2 kids. I said, I want a family to be able to sit down and play this game, never have heard the word RPG in their life.
Sure.
And get the same experience that I loved, and what people love about role-playing games, in a very contained experience as well. And I think we've nailed it, and the feedback we're getting is saying that. So the way it works is you start and you sit down and you say, like, kind of, where do we want to go? So where do we want to set this episode? And you answer 4 basic questions. So when does the episode take place? So is it going to be the past? Is it going to be the present? The future? Is it going to be 2025? Is it going to be the fall of the Roman Empire? Whatever you want.
Sure.
Where does the episode take place? So you agree the rough setting, that gives you room to have individual locations within that. What do we know about this world? So what's the ground rules for this world? Is it going to be high fantasy, magic exists? Is it going to be a dark dystopian future where people have enhanced body parts? Or is it just the modern, our modern day? And then the tone is it going to be serious? Is it going to be kind of farcical? Is it going to be almost like Indiana Jones-esque high adventure with some comedy as well? And that's really important later on in the game, as you'll see. So once you've got that, we're ready to jump into the adventure. So what you can do is give your series a name. So that, again, helps set the tone for what we're going into. So we jump straight in and we flip over the first card. So each card represents a scene in the episode. So we start with a dangerous dilemma, where the heroes are at a location, a threat, in this case, is attacking someone or something. If you look at the reference board here, you can see the various options. They could be accusing, attacking, have captured, or be pursuing. Kind of the generic things that happen in a show or story. So we don't know what's going on yet, okay? So let's say we say it is going to be kind of Star Trek vibe adventure, okay? So what we do is we take the story cubes and we roll them, and we're essentially going to fill in the blanks. So in this case, we want to choose a location and a threat.
Okay.
So I can see your brain is already working.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you see?
So, let's say this says very Egypt to me.
Okay.
And the threat could be aliens.
Okay. So, and what we encourage is just be specific. So give things like a name or describe it, and it's just to help all the other players see what's in your head as well. So let's give this kind of planet and location a name.
Okay, so this can be the Royal Egyptian Museum in Egypt, and let's just call these the Greys.
Okay, so the Greys are attacking someone or something. Okay, so the show started. It's like we cut to the titles and we introduce the characters. So we do that by every player has a character profile sheet, and we answer 4 basic questions. Oh no, sorry. We answer a couple of basic questions. Essentially, what's your job or role in this world? What compels you to go on an adventure? So through our play testing, people didn't always want to be the hero. So, it's almost like Scooby-Doo. You go for the food, or because you're afraid, or it might be an obligation. So it gives people freedom within that space. You give yourself a name, and you give yourself 2 specials, and these are things that that you think are going to be useful in this episode.
Okay.
So it could be, okay, well, I'm going to have psychic abilities, because we agreed this is kind of like a fantastical modern day setting. Or it can be a contact or an ability or some knowledge or expertise. So once we've done that, we explain how we know each other, and we jump straight back into the episode. So it's like after the ad break, we're back in.
Yep.
So basically now, you'll see in each scene, you generally have a number of actions, questions you can ask, and actions you can take. To ask a question, so I might go, well, who is the Grey attacking? Or who or what is the Grey attacking? Because we don't know for certain yet. So I say, okay, who or what is the Grey attacking? I take a token. These are really useful because you track players' engagement in the game and whether one player is kind of alpha gaming for players. So I take the story cubes and I roll them, and I use 1, 2, or 3 to answer the question. So who or what is it attacking? And I am going to say something about this. So it's like, is it? I'm a big fan of Moon Knight, so it might be like Khonshu. Right, so the embodiment of Khonshu.
Okay.
So there's actually, I don't know, I can't explain it right now, but Khonshu is here in this Egyptian temple, and a grey alien is attacking what to me looks like Khonshu. Okay? So then you might say, okay, you might have a question that you want to ask.
So like, why are they attacking, right?
So you'd roll the story cubes and you'd answer the question, and then we got to deal with this, okay? So then you're trying to resolve this scene. You've got 4 actions you can take. So we might say, okay, so I am going to try and, let me see, I'm going to try and sneak around the Grey and get into a position where I can, like, trap them.
Sure.
Okay, so I take a token. So I'm always saying I want to or I try to.
Okay.
And then I want to see what the outcome is. So I flip over an outcome card. Okay, so basically these are usually green or red for success or failure, and then they're modified by and or but.
So this works, but?
Yeah. No, well, no, it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so then to figure out what the kind of modifier is, someone in the scene is reacting in this way.
Interesting.
Okay, so in this case, it is, so I fail, so I get spotted by the Grey, and the Grey is like laughing at my ineptitude, like me, this mere mortal.
Pitiful attempt.
Yes, like you humans, you know, you've no role in this whatsoever. So this is how we resolve the actions. Once we play through all 4, we have to move on to the next scene. And like a good story, the plot always thickens. So we think it's about this,
right?
And then we flip over the card, and it's like dun dun dun. We discover the Greys actually have a dark agenda.
I see.
It could also have been Khonshu, because there's different combinations that you get. So again, the card.
So it creates these storylines,
yes,
literally.
So in this case, you can have like dark agenda. You can see here a terrible secret, an evil master, or an evil ally. In this case, it's an evil dark agenda. We can ask questions to figure out what that is. We'll allocate a token. So let's see, we might say their dark agenda is to basically, let's go really obvious.
Conquer the world.
They're going to conquer the world, okay? So then we need to deal with this. So then the heroes get actively involved, and we have an heroic undertaking. So we travel to a new location where we encounter a threat that is now pursuing us.
I see.
Okay, and the colours in here indicate that we can move forward die from previous locations for dramatic purposes that match where the border matches the fill.
I see.
So now something to do with this threat could immediately come into contact with us. It doesn't quite fit the story here, so let's say we travel to a new location. So we roll the story cubes. So, okay, so I then might spend, just to show you how these use, because each player has tokens they can spend. So I'm going to spend an add token and use it and say, I want to turn one of these, oh no, sorry, my modify token, I want to turn an icon. So I'm going to turn it to this. So I'm going to say, we actually travel to the home planet of the Greys. Okay?
Okay.
Because it's allowable in our sci-fi world, where we encounter, maybe it's actually Khonshu, who is now pursuing us. Okay? So you can see the stories unfolding, we can take actions, we can ask questions, then we head to the truth revealed. So here we discover, oh, actually, we thought it was all about this, but Khonshu is actually targeting some object.
Gotcha.
So what's that object? It's pink. We could say, well, actually, he's also after the Earth. So maybe the whole story is that they both want to take over the Earth, and that's why they were fighting in the first place. Then we head for the final showdown, where we encounter not one, but two threats who are after us. So again, with the colors, we can move forward. Threats, we could head back to the temple. We could introduce new elements, or we could face off about Khonshu. And the Greys are now like after us, and we have this final showdown. We can basically then add to the story. So at any point, a player can flip a token and add to someone else's contribution. We can have a flashback where we can explain, oh, well, the reason why this was happening was, and we can play or pause the episode. And this is important for cooperative storytelling, is that if you feel like the story is veering off or it's going into territory that you're not comfortable with, you can pause the game essentially and try and get it back on track. So whether we succeed or not, we either succeed and celebrate, or the episode ends on a cliffhanger. So at the end, you can basically record what happens in the episode by saying, you know, how has the world changed because of this? And what are the plot hooks and loose ends that are there for future episodes? We can also record on the back of the sheet, there's areas for you know, who you met in the episode, who are the key characters, locations and events, and likewise your character can record, you know, what was special about this episode for them. So it allows you then to jump into a new episode, pick up the plot threads and continue with your next episode. And what I've described basically plays out in about 60, like usually under 60 minutes as well.
This is a fascinating approach to collaborative storytelling. The randomization of the dice, the collaborative nature of cue, then story, then cue, then story. Really, really interesting. A lot of fun.
So, I mean, with story cubes, people love the fact that it's the icons that spark the imagination, but at the same time, some find the openness of it kind of a bit unsettling. They want structure and rules. So basically what we aim to provide is the structure that guarantees you have a story that when you tell it to someone else, it will be coherent and it will make sense. Yeah. Whereas if you've played story cubes, you'll probably remember those weird and wacky stories that go off the rails.
Which are fun too, in their own way.
So there's something really satisfying about being the hero and having that freedom to do whatever you want within this. Some pretty cool things are, you know, with story cubes we have, I think, like over 144 different dice, like individual die, so multiple sets, and you can mix and match them whatever way you want.
Sub them in.
So if you want a more sci-fi oriented set, you can bring in intergalactic. Someone said for Star Wars they mix intergalactic with Enchanted, which is our kind of more fairy tale set. And if you want it to be more Indiana Jones-esque, you can bring in Voyages and Explore to help with that as well. So there's a huge amount of variety, and it kind of plays like every episode could be a standalone episode where you just go into a different world. If you want to go steampunk, you could do that. If you wanted to go back to like Neolithic Earth, you could do that as well. If you want to go into a parallel alternate reality, you can do that. And the game is kind of content free. We give you the structure, but it really allows you then to bring your imagination to the game and have whatever experience you want.
That's fantastic. Thank you for walking us through it. Really appreciate it. It's a pleasure meeting you and getting to take a look at this game.
Likewise. And if anyone wants to find out more, obviously they can go to thecreativityhub.com, where you can find all the information about the game and how to play videos as well.
That should be showing up on the screen sometime right now. Okay, good. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you very much, Rory. It's a pleasure.
Hey there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, give us a like and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next game.